We are back. I apologize everyone for the technical issues today. They are doing some construction outside my house. I think it's messing things up. It's just being a funky day today, of course. But we're going to get back in the stream of things. We are painting Halushia. If you're just picking up in the stream, honestly, this is a good spot to pick up on. We are almost done with our base layers, so we can keep on going. While I'm at it, let's just get the copy going. I just want to give you all a quick reminder that the stream is sponsored by Wargame Trader. They sent over Halushia for me to paint today, and once it's finished, I'm going to be listing this painted version on wargametrader.com. I have sold pre-painted minis there myself, and a bunch of other Heroscape players, artists, and local game stores are selling there too. It's a Wargame Trader is built for tabletop minis with quick listings from a standardized catalog or over 28,000 products, useful pricing data, and a 6.5% flat seller fee, less than half of eBay's. So if you're buying or selling Heroscape or other tabletop models, check out wargametrader.com. All right, there we go. See, this is what being sponsored is like. It just means you get nothing but technical issues. We are working through them today. I appreciate everyone's patience, and let's get back at it. Okay, we are good to go. And for some reason, it's just the whole router decided to go out. Entirely separate issue than the one we've had before. I'm working on running an Ethernet line directly to up here to get a bit more of a stable connection. But the Ethernet is downstairs and I am upstairs, so it's a bit of a involves drilling. Right now we're not looking too fancy, we're just looking like blobs of green and brown, but we are slowly yet surely building our way up. Next up, we're going to take a bit of dark ivory and mix that in with our draft brown to slowly lightering up these colors here, just to add some initial highlights. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that sounds fun. YouTube added a messaging backend, which is really nice for giveaways. Because the hardest part about giveaways is like finding all the people and hunting them down, or at least it was. Now it's a bit easier that you can direct message people again. We're just taking the tip of our brush, and we're just kind of outlining where we want these highlights to go. I'm starting to construct the volumes and the initial texture of this model that we want to see here. If you're not feeling super up to the challenge, you can, of course, just dry brush this. And it might look just as well, if not better. Probably go through and dry brush this slightly with a lighter color, but I really want to preserve these shadows as much as possible. Probably definitely going to be dry brushing the shield, just because there's a lot of texture. There is no shame in dry brushing. It's a great tool for blending and highlighting. But when you kind of pick it out yourself, you have a bit more control of the light and the story you're trying to tell here. The key to remember about highlights is that if everything is a highlight, then nothing is a highlight. So you really want to pick the areas where the light would catch and try to avoid the rest of it. We're stippling on and drawing some lines on for some initial texture here. That will probably smooth out a little bit. Kind of more just playing with the model, seeing how far I want to get it. Obsessed with painting Morrow stuff, painting one as the dragon for a friend. That's pretty fun. Yeah, the Morrow are pretty fun. Your Morrow is coming along, is getting there. Kind of toying with the scheme a little bit on this one, trying some different things, but then I want to kind of go back to my traditional method and kind of just use that as an initial layering right there. Alright, well, let's use some leather brown and start picking out some details on his face while we're at it. See, my problem as a painter is I kind of get bored of the base layer, and I start jumping around to the more interesting parts, which is fine, you can do that, but by doing so, it does make it harder to make videos about it, because I'm not doing it in order per se. And we're using the tip of our brush, and we're just really bringing up areas we want to notice. But Morrow are fun. I'm hoping they re-release some Morrow, or we get some new squads in Heroscape. We really are, we're lacking some Morrow in Contemporary. Like, we have Bachburna, which is okay. He's Morrow in like the lightest of senses. I wish Bachburna could do. If Bachburna would be so good if his ability worked with Morrow and pirates, and then he'd be a fun unit to include in an army. And we have Kiraga, I believe she's called. She's cool. I wish her tunnel was one more move, because then she'd be a big threat. Right now, I just feel like with that 3 defense, she's going to get shot down before she has a chance to do any big tunnel moves. But I haven't had a chance to test her out yet, even on like online or anything, so she might be surprising. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe something with the gnarl furs will bring it out with her, or maybe she's designed to work with Nagrubs. I could see us getting like a 2.0 version of Nagrubs. Kind of, because I don't see there's much reason to reproduce them. Like, they're kind of cheap and easy to find, and it's not like they serve like this broad niche. It's not like people are like, where are my Nagrubs at? You know, they're kind of select in that regard. Like, I could definitely see them doing drones or dividers. Just because they occupy a different space. I don't know if I want to see dividers come back, but I actually do. I only have one squad of them, and they're easy to paint, easy to do up, and I mean, people would be happy about them. I'd be happy about them. Just to get some Morrow. Like, people freaked out with knights. People are gonna freak out if they do a really, like, the next remaster is gonna be what everyone's talking about. Every every Renegade Con. What's it gonna be? It is interesting. I am curious to see. Like, we'll know a lot more once they kind of get to the second remaster wave. If they're just going to kind of follow the same cadence, or they're going to kind of break it up. Like, there's no one saying that it has to all be a Jandar wave or all. That's just what we assume because of what we've seen so far. They could break it up. They can kind of just do something different. I kind of hope we get an Elf Wizard pack remastered with lower point cost. Because honestly, I think they are a unique niche that hasn't been seen in Contemporary. And they're getting a lot of love in Contemporary, so it'd be nice to field them all at a lower cost. And right now we are just working our way with some mid-tones as we build up to a lot brighter stuff. Notice how I'm just kind of scratching my brush along kind of the raised ridges just to kind of create a little bit of a distressed look. Halushia's been in some scraps. I kind of want to show that off a bit. Forgot his little shoulder here. We'll have to fill that in. Alright, let's go to more of a darker green. Maybe, let's go camo green. More of a blue green. This is such a cool figure. You love the concept. Yeah, he is pretty cool. It's like, what if a centaur was a deer? And what if that deer was a grumpy old man? Hope you're doing well tonight, Katura Vine 8075, who may or may not be my sister. I'll never tell. So we're kind of toning down these really bright with this kind of more duller green just to kind of make it not look as like plasticky. We've got so many vines, so little time. We're kind of trying to get like the warmer green beneath it and kind of cool it down with this more greener, a bluer green to kind of give it a bit of contrast. I'm going to take that ivory and mix it. Heimdall mixed Century mixed with a fern. Yeah, this guy canonically chopped off Savaris's arm just to teach him a lesson. They're on the same team. I call him the Halorax. I painted one actually all orange up one time, and because he speaks for the trees. He's a furry. Yeah, probably. He's more close to a furry hot take than the actual, like, the Vorids are. People just like to think any animalistic thing is a furry. And like the Vords are very not furry. Like as a core. Just because they're so animalistic. Like they are more animalistic than humanoid. But I get why people call them it. And we're taking some of this neutral gray and mixing it with the brown gray, and we're just going to be sketching out our beard highlights here, as we're going to be spending a while building this up. Holorex, yeah. Yeah, I painted him orange, gave him like painted his mustache all the same colors, and yeah, he was a fun one. I gave him as a giveaway at EscapeCon. Thankfully, his hair is very well sculpted. Sometimes the hair can be a bit of like a blob. So you have these lines, and we're just going to take the edge of our brush and just kind of following where the light would fall here. Which isn't very, inherently helpful, I understand. But it's really just the tops and the sides. While preserving these deeper, darker kind of shadows. We want to like thinly kind of push our paint into them. You want over 50% of, since this is kind of what the tone we want it to look like, is more of a light gray. You want over 50% of the beard to be this light gray, and just the deepest, darkest recesses to be that shadow. Like we might tone it down with a little bit of wash, but really, like hair doesn't look that good if you use a wash on it. It's better to kind of pick out the details. If he had a Savaris arm just as a loop on his figure, that would be pretty good. Yeah, they were just fighting, and Savaris is canonically a very egotistical person, and he's like no, and just chopped his arm off. But he gave him a tree arm, so I guess it's okay. You want sharks in Heroscape? According to the lore book, there are shark people on Mar. The Salashians. The shark guy and the dreadnoughts. Actually kind of would like more of those guys. They're kind of cool. We're going to take that light gray and we're going to start picking out. Honestly, we might go full white for this. We're very bright. We're gonna be lazy and pick out all these rocks and kind of obsidian little cuts on him. Start kind of locking those in. Sharkscape would still be pretty cool though. It would be cool if we had like an aquatic expansion that's just entirely for underwater stuff. I'd appreciate that. And the next big terrain expansion is under the sea. Okay, we're going to use the edge of our brush, and we're going to kind of add some brightness so we can be lazy later. Now we're going to use the tip of our brush and just add some scratches and texture just to make it a little bit less boring. Kind of blend it in a bit better. Setup and sound quality is excellent. Thank you. As long as we don't crash, we will be doing good. Have fun watching your movie. And you should have invited me. Now I'm mad. Is it Enola Holmes 3? Be watching a movie, but now I gotta be painting this guy. That's my lot in life. But thank you. Went to see the Enola Holmes 3. Not a super big fan of them, but I know she watched the first two. I just had FOMO because someone was watching something without me. Okay, always kind of mess up on these little lightning zigzags on his legs. Consider myself uninvited to all future movie ventures. Nah, that's depressing, but understandable. All of them? That's fine. That's fine. You don't deserve my insight into the Godzilla movies or the Star Wars movies. I haven't been to the theaters in a little bit. I saw, I guess, Mandalorian and Grogu, but I don't even consider that a theater experience. That was just a TV experience on a bigger screen. Like, for just like a movie, it's been a hot minute. I think I saw Across the Spider-Verse in theaters, which is pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to see Project Hail Mary, but I didn't catch it in theaters. But I'll watch it home. I just set up my projectors. I got a good, nice projector set up and remodeled the whole garage to be able to hold it all. So we'll get back to watching movies. There's another layer just to kind of solidify this. Make it all come together. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more of this ivory mixed with this gray. We're going to thin this down. I kind of want this to be kind of thin here. A little bit more transparent. Maybe not that transparent, which is non-existent. And we're going to add some more. We're just slowly, just bit by bit, bringing up his beard. Really just going to follow the curvatures, leaving a little bit less behind with each pass. I like using ivory or off-white instead of pure white, just because it makes the transitions a little bit softer, a little bit less jarring, gives me a little bit more room to work around. The moment you get a color as bright as possible is just, you just have nowhere left to go with it. Okay. Let's get a little bit of, let's get some sharp contrast on these green parts here. We're going to be using yellow green, bright yellow green from Pro Acryl, and we're just going to start picking out some details here. We really want kind of like to create a strong gradient on this, just to really, since so much of him is you know, brown, having these really sharp points of color really kind of just allows your eyes to kind of more comfortably rest on him. If you ever want your green to be more punchy, just add a bit more yellow to it. Remember, green is just half yellow, and the more you emphasize one of those halves, the more stronger it gets. I actually have some more things I have to list onto Wargame Trader. I recently found a lot online for Heroscape, they misspelled it, that featured pretty much a mostly intact Dungeons set, as well as like 4 D&D expansions, Marvel, some Rise of the Valkyrie, and a full Swarm of the Morrow for $100. So that was a pretty good find. They didn't have cards, and some of the figures and stuff were beat up, but for the most part, it was a pretty good find. Hello, Joan. Thank you. We're coming along, bit by bit, piece by piece. Happy 4th of July Eve, so to speak. All right, we are going to go into some transparent black here, pretty much like a contrast black, just to kind of tone this down here. Sometimes you just gotta let the colors work for you. And today I want to kind of maintain this brightness while also not spending a lot of time on it. So we're going to just let this transparent black from Pro Acryl, and it's really just going to kind of settle in the shadows and let these bright spots still appear very bright. Still kind of have their shape and structure. I have to go to a slightly smaller brush. When you're using, like fluid paints like washes and speed paints, it's best not to use your nice brush, because the paint has a tendency to go up into your ferrule, or the part where the brush connects with the tip. And once paint gets in there, it's kind of a death spiral for your brush. You can kind of try to save it and repair it, but it will start to break apart the glue and just make you gradually lose that tip. Really, if you're kind of looking to get serious about painting, learning proper brush control and how to just keep your brush alive longer, it will save you more money than paints or anything like that. I've been painting for a while, and I just get really lazy sometimes. I just want to use the brush on my hand and just slap it on, and I go through brushes because of that. And nothing worse than buying a new $20 Sable and you just kill it because you're lazy, which I have done. And I need to get better at. Sometimes I get in the zone and I forget what brush I'm using. This guy's tough because these areas kind of overlap with each other. It's hard to get that full coverage. And we'll go through and raise up the brightness in some of these just to really, really catch that eye. I don't know if you can hear them or not, but the fireworks are starting. This is the 250th, anniversary, and I live in the Midwest, and 4th of July is on a Saturday. It is going to be a war zone out here. It is going to be like, oh, what's that explosive liquid? Nitroglycerin? My old street I used to live on out here, someone filled a balloon with nitroglycerin and threw it into the street. It boomed so loud that it like caused car alarms to go off and the whole windows to shatter. Not shatter, but shutter. And yeah, it's gonna be wild. 4th of July is kind of an inherently weird holiday if you really think about it. I get it. I get why we do it. It's fun, but it's just kind of like we're gonna blow up the world. That is the American way. One time when I was little, I was just sitting watching the 4th of July out here, and just my cousin was sitting next to me, like a lit firecracker just comes down out of the sky, like goes through his shirt, and he has to look at it, like throw it out before he catches on fire. Just came out of nowhere. What color should I make his belt? What color is on the official model? That'll probably be helpful to know. Oh, it's like a greenish gray. Let's see if we can get a good tone for that going here. We'll use a refractive green from Pro Acryl, which is pretty nice. It's a nice browny green. It's got kind of a unique tone that's hard to replicate. There we go. Bit by bit. Let's start adding some highlights that we forgot to add to his tail over here. And just kind of taking a lighter gray mixed with that kind of gray brown we used, and just kind of finding the edges, finding the highlights. Highlights are a very tough thing to kind of explain, knowing where they put. For the most part, it's just imagine a light shining down, and where is that light going? You really, if you're into painting, look at just the world around you. Look at texture. Look at how light behaves. And it takes practice. I'm still learning. Like I am not a master of it by any means. You see some of those like master painters, just the way they can play with light. It's both inspiring and daunting a little bit, just to see what you can do with a few colors and just the right placement. It's like those professional artists who can make like 4 lines and it's the best portrait you've ever seen, like instantaneously. And that's a good thing to remember about painting, is there's always someone better than you. You're not trying to be the best, just the best that you can be. And sometimes you don't even have to be that. Sometimes you just have to get the model not unpainted. Sometimes the model is just not going to call out to you and it's not going to be a masterpiece. Sometimes it's better just to get it finished. And that's the cool thing about like models, is there's always another one. For the most part, you know, like the bar is pretty low if like you have to pretty mess up a model pretty bad to have it be worse than just being an unpainted model. Even just a basic base layer and a wash. Like I do too much. Sometimes you just need a base layer and a wash just to get it onto the table. Because the cool thing about like game models is it's multifunctional. Even if it's not like the best model, you can still play with it. That's why I'm really glad Heroscape has this unpainted element to it now. I think it gives you so much more enjoyment of the game. Like, I show up to events and I think, what do I want to paint? Instead of, what's the best army? What do I want to flex on when I'm out there in the field? Oh, it happens to be the worst army, but man, I am going to be feeling good while I'm doing it. Okay, so we're building up. We're working on midtones now. That's kind of the name of the game, is we're bringing the darks up to be a little bit less boring. I'm going to use some pure dark ivory here. Probably not going to be super talkative during this part. As I will silently be focusing on all these little areas. We're going to get some glazes and kind of soften this a bit. Some areas we probably went a little bit too harsh. We jumped colors just a little too fast, which is fine. Getting underneath these bottom parts of the belt here is always tough. There we go. Now we're bringing out some of the cool detail on the sword here. I finally have Thorman all primed and painted up. I think I'm going to be doing a long series on him. I want to spend a long time on Thorman. Just because he's such a cool figure. He's one of the coolest looking models in the game. I'm going to dry brush his antlers after this, just to catch all these details. He has like lots of little holes and rivets on his antlers, which are really cool. Okay, what do we work on next here? His hoofs. Probably put another coat of this transparent black onto those areas, just to make them appear a bit darker. I think I over thinned it down a bit. And we'll add this transparent black to his eye sockets too, just to kind of fill them in a bit. We'll use like a warm brown, I think, for his little straps on his shield. See, I don't have any music playing. My headphones died, so I don't have any music playing in my ears. So I'm like hyper focused. I'm probably playing better without it, because it has just nothing but my 100% focus. But my endurance is struggling, because I always paint with weird music blasting. Last year, my Spotify Wrapped said I listened to 145,000 hours of music, which shows how much I listen to music and paint. It's a little problematic. For some reason, I don't know how this happened. It said that my #1 song I listened to was Never Give You Up by Rick Astley, which I don't know how that happened. Someone, I feel like, played an elaborate joke on me, and they're not telling me. We're going to get a little bit of, let's see, what color do we want to transition his face to? Do you want to put more reds in it, or do we want to go more yellow? Let's go a little bit more red. Let's get some lights. Light, like yellow, no, not light yellow, orange. There's some flesh tone, actually. We'll mix just a tiny bit of like a dark flesh tone, like some advanced flesh tone from Pro Acryl, which is a really nice base layer for flesh. And we're just going to give him a little bit more dimension to his cheeks. We're going to test how this works out here. And we're going to mix that with probably the Dryan bark, just to soften it down here. So I don't want it to appear like a flesh tone. I want it to be like a pinkish brown. This is just an idea. We're more deviating from the norm. I think we do this, we raise it up, and we'll tone it down with some glazes, and we'll be looking pretty good. Yeah, this doesn't fit fully. There's always a chance it will launch off, and Halushia will do his own thing. I also don't want to hold the model, so we're doing what we got here. Or maybe not. There we go. We were working good. I don't think we are going to be doing that anymore. All right. This flesh tone is pretty much just brown. It's just weird shades of brown. Because we have so many other kind of like tannish colors or colors like that. I feel like we'll just get kind of muddy on this face. A little bit of color blended in, I think might give us something interesting to look at here. give a little to his hands as well. And we are definitely going to tone that down. All right. Now we are going to get an ink now. I've been messing with inks for a little bit. Let's see if we can kind of start adding just a bit more controlled shading to this right here. So we're using some sepia ink from Chimera, some velvet ink from them. Pretty much it's very high density acrylic ink. Great for blending and glazing. And you could also use this as a wash as well. So we're going to be using a mixture of a glaze and a wash. If I can open it up here. In the move to the new studio, I lost my paper clips, which, oh wait, I found one. I found my lucky paper clip. Never force like a drop bottle like this, as it will squirt out with high force and you'll lose half a bottle of paint. It'll just be a big mess everywhere. Alright, so we're going to take that ink and we are going to just thin it down a bit. Put some water into it to get to a bit more of a manageable tone. And we're going to kind of soften some of these scratchier etchings we did on his bone belt. I don't really know what it is supposed to be. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Still able to preserve a lot of those highlights we worked on, but they're just a little bit less sharp. And when this dries, it should be looking pretty good. We're gonna kind of use the edge of our brush, and we're gonna get some areas where we want to just be a bit brighter. I just felt like we were missing some of the shadows. I don't think I went as deep for the shadows as I would have liked. But honestly, I didn't want to spend the time to get to that point, so we're letting the paint work for us. And we're going to take the brush and kind of bring this into the shading here. This is a sepia tone, so nice kind of warmish brown tone that I like. And we'll apply it to, this is kind of like a greenish tint to it. Let's put on the green as well. Make it kind of look kind of muddy. See if we want to do that here. All right. Actually, I think I thinned it down too much. I kind of like it darker. We need that strong strong delineation, which is nice. All right. We're going to take that dark wood brown, and we're going to apply this over, again, our facial areas. If I can find where I put it at. I can just use satchel brown for a lighter color. We'll actually take a lighter brown, satchel brown, and we'll kind of be able to blend this just a little bit more. And when this dries, this should give us a nice look to it. Just another layer to brighten this up here. And I think we'll call it for tonight. I think it's the eve of the holiday, so let's call a little early tonight as we finish up these last details. Also, I just have a tendency of talking too long at the end, so you know, I say we'll call it for the night, and I'll end up getting distracted by something else. We're looking to add some highlights, the kind of tops of this kind of front bark right here. And much like a Christmas tree, I definitely am paying more attention to the the front than I am to the back. I'll have to go through and kind of touch up some of these back parts because I haven't even given them as much love. Picking out all these little branches and stuff like that on the model can be a little bit tedious. Just because it's sometimes hard to determine where the vine begins and where the body actually begins. Yeah, I do really like the sculpt of Halushia. He's a well sculpted model. Probably one of the best in Newscape, I'd say. He's got just a very unique thing going around for him. get some faded green, or some bright green rather, and we'll just kind of add a little spunk to it in some spots. There we go. Really want them to feel like these vines are a strong focal point. When you paint a model, you really want to like dictate, use the light to kind of guide people to your model. Like I use wash a lot. I like wash. I think it's great, especially if you have a lot of things you want to get done. But wash can make your model look muddy. Sometimes it can ruin all those colors you worked on building, and you lose that sense of direction with the light or color. Also, it's important to remember that paint appears brighter when it's applied, and then when it dries, it definitely darkens up, especially Pro Acryl. Pro Acryl looks super bright and vibrant when you apply it, then after 5 minutes, you're like, I can barely see if there's a layer there. See, I lied. I told you I would lie. I said, I think I'm going to end up the stream, and I ended up just adding 2 more layers. And we're using the tip of our brush just to pencil in some eyes here. Try to fill in his teeth using a ochre color. I'll go over with a brighter color in a second. And we're using the same ochre just to bring up some of the colors too. Use this light gray, and we're going to retrace the tips of these black rocks on them. Just kind of the outermost back and a little bit of the front. You don't want to overdo it. You just want them to appear black. I'm going to put some gloss varnish on that part just to really make them kind of look gloss. Like obsidian is my goal. Stuff there. I'll have to fix that. We're just using the edge of our brush just to catch the edges of the figure. There we go. We're getting some really good headway on this guy. Take this pure white and we'll mix it with that ivory just to really start going to the next level. I want to thin this down though. We don't want this to be too strong or too thick. We want this to be largely transparent. As we do want the previous layers to show through. A little bit too thin, and it's flown to places where I don't like. So it's always about finding that balance of thinness to control. The same for the brush. Just using the tail rather. I thought that was a brush. The tail, we were just using the edge of a brush and just kind of catching these raised surfaces. Really focusing on the top, as we want that transition to be pretty strong and clear. Okay, and we messed up there. We'll have to fix that. It's part of the job. See, the one part I don't like about this model is kind of this upper top corner where the hair and the vines meet. It just kind of creates this weird pit where the paint likes to sit if you're not paying attention. So you're gonna have to work around that. Let's go to just a slightly brighter color. Let's go to Ancient Stone. Get that on the palette here. Just a little bit more of a warm white, which we could have probably mixed down if we really wanted to. Just mix some brown into it. But I paid good money for that paint, so I'm going to use it. You know, I'm actually feeling like we might need a little bit of dry brush. Just to really buff up some of these details. Halushia's my favorite renegade and super solid stuff. Yeah, he's a fun guy. I love Halushia. He's pretty cool. I hope he gets like one better familiar to work with him. But I recently played a game with Tales of Valhalla, and Halushia just swamped my army. I was in a winning state, and literally I put like four wounds on him, and he got them all healed up from Chana. If his defense can hold, he can wreck an army. And most maps have a tree on them. Like, it's rare to see a map with no tree. You know what? I'm almost tempted to do a dual tone. Or do I do a metallic? You know what? I might actually make it a little bit more shiny. Because right now these are getting there, but they just feel like they're missing a little pizzazz. And I probably won't. I want to find my medium. I'm going to be lazy. I'm a lazy painter, which makes me a happy painter. But we're going to go for a little bit more black ink, which I just know has a bit more of a glossy texture to it. And a little bit more bolder and stronger. And we're just going to do the lower parts. Like, we really want to preserve these highlights we did. He's a sleeper. The Kraken with 7 moves. He's going to catch it. Ooh, that is true. I haven't yet played him with the Kraken. That does sound like a fun build. I like the Kraken. I got to be painting the Kraken here pretty soon. And I finally have them all prepped and primed. Now I just need that motivation to get them going. I think I might do more airbrush for the Kraken, but I'm not fully sure. But he's a pretty good guy. I like Halushia. He matches all the points of a figure that I'm looking for. He's got the stats. He's got the presence. He's got that je ne sais quoi. Yeah, he's pretty cool. Let's get a little bit of highlights going on our woodland friend here. Some more that we haven't done yet. Find an appropriately sized dry brush or makeup brush if you don't have any dry brushes on hand. Do it with a bigger one. We get a little bit of wiggle room. Yeah, I would like to run them with the Kraken. The Kraken has so many potentials of things you can do. I really like just the Thorman Kraken build with Dr. Mindbender and like Raylan 4.0 and whatever else fits. Milky's really good in that build too, even though it's a little light in range. You just are able to protect and move and kind of coordinate your whole army. But I'm kind of try to see if it fits with Halushia, because he's got that multi-attack too. What am I doing here? What do I want to do with my life? Oh yeah, dry brushing. We are dry brushing. Finding the perfect color for the perfect time. We of course could mix these colors if we weren't so lazy. Alright, we're going to use some bony spikes here. And we will brighten up the day, so to speak. Just to get that last highlight. There's just so many small details on the antlers. I just don't want to pick them out. And it works really nice on this part right here. Like he's able to just catch all these ridges. I'm overbrushing a little bit, and that's intentional. I'm going to kind of go back and thinly apply some paint over those areas just to kind of blend them in better. Sometimes, if your model's looking a little flat, an extra layer of white or brighter color, and then kind of reblending those colors can really help you kind of get back to where you need to be. Yeah, I think I should have done the inks before I did this. I'm still kind of experimenting with how the inks work. I like them, but I haven't fully figured out the cadence for them yet. Okay, that helps a lot. Now that gives us a little bit more room for blending. Kind of using a second layer of blending just to add a little bit more shadow. And definition. Kind of dispersing it from where we want the shadows to be the strongest. And then kind of pushing them up is the plan. There we go. I think we're able to get a better use of the inks a little bit more subtly here this way. I was like, it looks a little flat for how much work we're putting into here. And sometimes you're just going to backtrack. It's just not working. Actually might make his whole shield a shade darker. Kind of like feels like it kind of draws your eyes away too much. So I'm going to take some of that satchel brown and just kind of blend this in while it's still kind of wet from the other layer. Now that we've rebrined it, it'll be a lot easier. We're using more speed paints and inks than I normally use, just because there's so many small details that we really want to keep. We don't want to over paint them too much. go. We're using that satchel brown for just a final layer of a little bit more color differences on this. Really make those shadows work. And some nice green eyes. Help him out. Let's use these bony spikes for his teeth too. These teeth are quite small. You definitely want to make sure your brush doesn't have too much moisture on it. And we're just doing little tiny dots just to bring them out. I'll have to go through and clean these up a bit. They are quite small teeth. It's important for teeth just to have that line of that darker color beneath it, though. Not fully happy with that, but we'll make it work for now. And we're going to take some of this warm brown and just try to add a little bit of dimension to his torso. Thankfully, the synethol prime that we did is kind of doing most of the work here, but I just do want to touch up some areas and brighten them. But just very thinly. We're just adding some separate leather brown to these belt straps just to make them stand out more. And I think this isn't half bad. We might tone down some of these vine branches, like they just have a bit what's going on. Do we want to do a brown wash on them? I just don't want to dilute them so much with all the work we did here. So I'm back and forth on that. I'll have to think about that. But for the most part, this is kind of like we're just going to be doing more of this, fixing up some of the areas we missed and raising things up, fixing these teeth slightly. But for the most part, like he's 90% there. The rest of it kind of just boring back and forth. We might add a little bit of gray to his back plating here just to make it a little bit more interesting. And yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with our Howboy here. So I think we're gonna let him sit for a second. I'm gonna make sure we're all good to go, and just check one of my messages real fast because I can do that. And I do just want to thank once again to Wargame Trader for sponsoring the stream and sending over this Halushia for me to paint. It's a Wargame Trader is just like a marketplace like eBay. It's specialized for war games like Heroscape. Once this figure is finished and listed, you'll be able to find it on WargameTrader.com. The other figure in the box will be a Solin, which we'll be doing at a later date, and he'll be listed in the future as well. I have used Wargame Trader myself to sell pre-painted minis, and it's been cool seeing some more Heroscape players kind of jump on, as well as artists and stores using it too. So if you're looking to buy or sell Heroscape figures, painted minis, replacement pieces, or other tabletop models, check out WargameTrader.com. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. So, yeah, I think we're going to call it here. Special thanks again to WargameTrader.com. Link is in the description. Check them out. They do great things. I'm going to be listing this guy once he's all finished up. He's got a little bit more work to do, more than things dry. And really, just it's a good place to sell and buy Heroscape. ScapeCon is coming up, so be tuned. Stay tuned for some more videos coming about that, as I'm sure gonna win tons and not lose all week long. Interestingly, when I'm at ScapeCon, I have met up with, reached out to G Busy, who's bringing one of every VC figure. My classic index series is something I'm wanting to revisit with all the current VC figures. So, you know, if you're wanting to paint Morgoloth, you can find a good 3D 360 spin around of the model is my end goal, as well as kind of created PNGs of all those figures. Other than that, I'm the Roguescaper. It's on Happy 4th when it shows up to your side, or if you celebrate it, and you know, don't die in any explosions. And I will see you on the next stream. We got some stuff cooking. We've been on a small hiatus as we get our life put together. But we're finishing up our life projects, and we're getting back on track. New Scape is coming out in like 2 months, as well as Gen Con, which I won't be able to be, but there'll be some coverage of that, I'm sure. And all in all, just thanks for everyone for watching and talking and keeping me company as I get this guy all painted up here. Stay tuned on the Discords. I'll post a finished picture of him, and if you really like the look of the cut of his jib, you can pick him up at a later date. So not too bad. Not too bad for a first sponsored stream, I say. All right. Well, technical issues aside, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, and thanks so much for watching.